What's up, guys? It's your boy Shady Mike, and today we're going to be talking about the best sliders to use for college football 26. I'm bringing you guys a beta slider set today that I have run through my entire first year of my Florida State Dynasty with, and I've been tweaking slowly, but I have been having a blast with this set. So we'll get into the details of that, but first be sure to like the video and subscribe for more. But first order of business, we did do a giveaway. So today I want to announce the winner of that is Gavin Laguador. He said he's an Alabama fan. He's on PS5 and he hasn't gotten a new football game since Madden 23. But you will be playing college football 26 this year, my dude. So shout out to you. This video is not sponsored, but shout out to the EA Creator Network for, giving me the opportunity to do cool stuff like this for my community. But yeah, guys, other than that, let's go ahead and get into the sliders. All right, guys, so I want to walk you through the settings that have been giving me some really good gameplay over the first 100 or so hours with college football 26. So we are going to be going through the entire setup of your dynasty, all of the different settings, a little bit of penalty stuff, but not much penalty stuff, and I will explain why. I want to show you guys a kind of a concept that I was thinking of for a good auto sub rotation, but we'll see if it works or if people even like it. So let's go ahead. So first thing you want to do is tab over to Dynasty Central. We're going to start with our league settings. We are going to be playing on Heisman. Heisman. I've never played on anything else. Again, I get the question a lot, are you going to make an All-American set? No. I'm never really challenged on anything but the highest. All Madden, Heisman, that's just kind of a no-brainer, guys. Make grown men sliders around here. We want to be challenged, we want to be pushed, we want to improve our game, so that's what we're going for. Coach firing, guys. I actually like this setting to off, or CPU only, excuse me. We're going to be at Florida State. We're not going to be anywhere else. I don't want to get fired. I don't want to go anywhere else, but if you like that challenge of going somewhere else and rebuilding and, them kind of cutting the cord, pulling the plug on you, do whatever. That's personal preference. But if you keep it on CPU only, that way the CPU will keep that rotation going. I have Coach XP on fastest. Feel free to bump this back to normal or slow or whatever you like. I'm not into the RPG stuff. I just want my points. So give me my points. I'll get some new skills, this, that, and the other. I've got a player edit on any player. I don't really do much there, but the injuries are on. Now, manual progression, XP penalty. Here's a hot take. I know a lot of people hated the automatic progression system from last year. I actually personally like it, and the way I think about it and try to do it kind of like as a role-playing experience is as a coach, I'm going to tell my guys what to go work on, but there's no guarantee after I tell them what they're going to work on. So they might come back with different skills and, be a little bit different from what they focused on versus what we said. So I just kind of like the random and, just the kind of the wild card aspect of that, but that's personal preference, of course. But I do say, however, if you do choose to manually progress your players, I don't want to be penalized for it. So I just put that at 0. The default, I believe, is 25%. Might have been 15. No, I think it was 25%. So, if you want to put that back, feel free, but I'm going to keep it at 0, but I'm going to actually do the auto progression just to see what happens with players. That's kind of the fun, random part of it for me. Pre-order bonus, I just have it off. If it's on, you get like 100 extra points for your coach if you pre-order, but that is what it is. Guys, 13 minutes, 15-second runoff is perfect for me. That is giving me a really good, solid amount of plays, and that's what I've been ran all last year, and I'll be running that again this year. Now, guys, let's talk about wear and tear. I have not tested this as far as how guys are getting dinged up. My goal here was what I decided to do was I decided to use this to try and get a rotation going. Now it's gonna be a little bit weird, and I am still testing this, but I wanted to show you guys what I'm using. I've got all the wear and tear damage stuff at default. I'm not changing that right now, but I've got all the recovery stuff at the max. And you're probably like, why? I will show you why in just a second, but I just want to show you everything's default, but then the recovery stuff is at 100, and I'll show you why later. For the transfer stuff, I believe the default here was 20, 55, and 55 for user and CPU, but I just tested 30, 100, 100. In my first year with FSU, I had like 8 players leave, and then I was able to persuade 1 to stay, and then I re-signed another one back again in the portal. It actually wasn't that bad with everything maxed out, and the portal was crazy. So that's just me screwing around. We'll come to a conclusion once version 1 drops of exactly what we like. But I was just literally screwing around with everything maxed out. You can put this wherever you want or leave it at default if you want. Season experience for me is full control. League advancement is manual. Auto recruiting, I would suggest you turn it off. It is terrible again this year. With Florida State, I brought in like 9 total recruits and like only 2 of them were 4 stars. It was crazy bad. I have auto progression on. Feel free to turn that off and do it yourself. Let's go over now to our gameplay settings, and we're just going to go over into user settings. Let me walk you guys through this really quick. For the coin toss, you want kick and against win. This is the 50-50 option. So if you set it like this, that means you can potentially receive or potentially kick. Kick scheme is tap and hold. And these are my passing settings. Now, some people might say this is user preference. It actually is not user preference. I would suggest, you can do whatever you want, but I suggest you use placement or classic passing. Why do I say that? I know a lot of people are big fans of revamped. What a lot of people don't know is revamped passing does not take into ratings. Excuse me, it doesn't take into account your ratings. You will not miss throws with revamped. I'm going for a sim challenge here, and that's why I don't use revamped. What a lot of people don't know about this setting, however, is the CPU also uses whatever style that you use. And what I found with revamped, for whatever reason, the CPU simply doesn't use as many trajectories as they could, and they kind of always throw line drives, even on the deep balls. It was a little bit weird, so I stick with placement, and that's what I would suggest, but it is up to you. That is personal preference. But just do keep in mind, if you are given feedback and you're using something different, that might change your experience. Moving on down, a lot of this stuff is personal preference. AI wide receiver for user teams, that's personal preference, but I keep it on. Keep tackle mechanics hidden. And this stuff is all just helps you maneuver out in the open field. Now, I do play no switch, so I get the defensive end and I stick with him for the whole play. So that's why I've got the switch stick disabled. I don't want to hit it by accident. Everything else, as far as some of these settings, are pretty much personal preference. I just turned off the music so that we don't get any copyright strikes. But yeah, none of the rest of the stuff. I like to put player names on pre-snap only. I turn off the camera toggle just so I don't hit it by accident. But everything else is pretty much standard. Let's move over now to the gameplay sliders. And what I want to show you guys is how I'm planning to adjust some of these sliders so far. Now, you'll notice this set might look a little bit wonky, but trust me on the gameplay here. And I'm going to kind of give you guys an explanation as to why I made some of the decisions that I made. This is slightly different from what we were using on stream the last time you guys saw. So for quarterback accuracy, I've got it at 50. Why 50 and why not lower? Why not higher? First and foremost, it's incredibly balanced at 50. You get inaccurate throws, perfect throws, depending on ratings. I missed a few throws with an 82 overall quarterback, and I actually really like it, so I didn't see any reason to change it. Last year, I ran with it at like 10 or something, but this year, I didn't see a need to move it. For the pass blocking slider, this is one of, if not, I think this is the most important slider for the set. When you guys saw me play on stream, I had it at 70. However, I am putting this back at 50 because I've been playing the game so much and I've been getting better and I've been beating teams that I probably shouldn't beat. Now, why do I say this? The pass blocking slider is the overall difficulty slider of the game. With it at 50, guys, you are not going to be able to block Georgia. You're not going to be able to block Florida State, or sorry, excuse me, Ohio State, excuse me. Those teams that have all of those 90 overall pass rushers, you're not going to be able to block them. Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, you're not going to be able to block them. That's simple. You got to switch your game plan, run the ball, throw quick passes. That's what I like. Wide receiver catching is very good at 50, maybe too good. In the future, I might explore 45, but right now it is 50. You can make a lot of tough contested catches if your receivers are rated the right way.
He might want another play. To the air, it's Castellanos. Touchdown Seminoles! Grab the short pass to put the 6 on the board.
This quarterback.
It's up to us as a community to determine, is it too high? Do we need to go to 45 or not? Run blocking, I still am pretty good at running the ball. So I have it at 25. For those of you that were watching that LSU game, that was a game that I struggled, and I like that. If you really struggle or using like a 2-star school, that might be something you need to bring back up, but I like it where it's at. Ball security, I have it 49. It causes some fumbles every now and again. I'm thinking about 48. This slider for the user is extremely sensitive. Keep that in mind. Let's go to the pass coverage and pass defense, because this is, I think, one of the biggest struggles of the game out of the box. So interceptions, let's start with interceptions in the middle. I have it at default. Why? The CPU barely ever makes bad throws, and when they do, I think my guy should catch it. That's just simple. I was not even getting one interception per game. They're not super common from the CPU. They don't make a lot of bad throws, so I want my interceptions to be at 50. You know, you're going to have a good chance, and I even still, you might drop some for the user. So 50 is very balanced for the user. Now, pass coverage, I still felt could use a little bit of a bump. Now, there's going to be a couple different ways we can think about giving the user a bump to their pass defense. Could we do it by lowering quarterback accuracy or pass blocking? Those are all things we're going to consider. I was told to test 100-100. Simply put, I used 100-100 last year for the reaction time and pass coverage. However, I am not 100% sure either of these two sliders work. I know people say that they do. I'm telling you that I don't know that they do, and that I've been playing this game close to 100 hours, and it doesn't look like they do. I'm going to keep testing, play some games with it at 100-100, but I don't think it makes a difference. Now, tackling is at 30, and I already know people are going to freak out about that setting. Why do I keep doing this? Why do I set the user tackling so low? The reason I do this is because the CPU, in my opinion, is still kind of dumb with the angles that they take. What people need to understand is the tackling slider not only affects your tackle rate, but it also impacts the pursuit angles. And sometimes I think the CPU needs help in areas where the user would be getting loose with the left stick. The CPU just isn't smart enough to navigate. I think that they need help there. That's why I give them a chance to get their run game going, maybe break a tackle that was 5 yards behind the line and get back to the line of scrimmage. That's mainly why I do it, for those plays that are blown up deep in the backfield, to give the CPU a chance.
Dialing up a shot right away in the first series, trying to seize the momentum.
Looking to fire. Plows through the defense. He steps out of back.
Now, quarterback accuracy, guys. This is the same as it's always been, except for one key difference, which is very annoying. First and foremost, we want to cause the CPU to throw some more inaccurate passes, and we want to stop Robo QB. However, if you drop this, I played a game with this at 10, and they still weren't missing a lot of throws. However, if you drop this too far, 5-0, the CPU goes check down city, and I hate it. The second thing that is different this year is if you drop this to 0, for whatever reason, the CPU throws a bunch of wobbly, like lame duck looking passes. So I don't like dropping this year. I don't think I'm going to drop it much further until I figure out a way to fix A, the wobbly pass issue, or B, the fact that they keep checking it down that much. Just like the user, we've got pass blocking at 50. I was getting a really good pass rush, and I was really disrupting some games with that 50. I am considering 60 for the CPU. Haven't gone that far yet, but we're considering it. Wide receiver catching has to be at 40. Dropped it by 10. CPU wide receivers' hands are extremely sticky. Even with it at 40, really nice with it at 40. You'll finally see some drops, but they were catching literally everything with it at 50. We had to drop that down. Now, run blocking. This is an interesting thing that I want to show you guys. Now, there's two ways to handle the CPU run game. First and foremost, it's terrible out of the box, like always. It's always been kind of an issue with all of these football games. So there's a couple ways that you can fix it. You can nuke the user tackling slider, which is what I like to do, or you can really bump the CPU run blocking slider. So what I've seen people bump this up to 80 and 90 and keep the CPU tackling at the normal default 50. That way, when you finally do get to them, because they're all of their linemen are going to be blocking like prime Jason Kelsey. But when you do finally get to them, you'll make that tackle. I personally like to see the CPU have a little bit more of a dynamic run game, so I don't like that. But even with the tackling slider dropped a little bit, they do need a buff with, to the run blocking, because 50 just doesn't get it done. So if you really, 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 really hate, and maybe I'll come to hate it, the low user tackling, you can bump it back to 40, bump it back to 50, whatever you want, but you're probably going to need to give them another 10. And on the run blocking, maybe 15, 20. To go like to 70, 75, 80. I'm not sure, but what I don't like about that is it just gives too many runs where the CPU is like untouched for the first 11 yards. It's not realistic in my opinion, but that's your opinion, however you'd like to attack it. This is how I'm attacking it for now. Might change come V1. Now for ball security, I've got it at 45 to see if we can get the CPU to fumble. They almost never fumble. I am telling you guys right now, the next game that I play, I will be playing this with the CPU ball security at 40. Remember, this slider, the lower it is, the more fumbles, the higher it is, the less fumbles. However, I did not test it with it at 40, so I don't want to present it to you guys. The last game I played was at 45, still no fumbles. I want to get one fumble a game, between the two teams, and I'm not seeing a lot of fumbles. So the next game that I play, I'm going to test ball security at 40 here. And then for the user, I'm going to test ball security at 48, but I just haven't tested that yet. Didn't want to present that as good. CPU pass coverage is fine, super sticky, 50, and I'm sorry, I actually have interceptions turned down to 30. I threw 2 picks with it at 30. We might test 25. They rarely drop picks. But that's up to you. This personal preference is going to be your skill. Tackling, I do have at 60. If you're really, really, really struggling to run the ball, or you just feel like you're not breaking enough tackles, feel free to put that back at default. It's no big deal, but it's just personal preference. I think the CPU is kind of dumb when it comes to pursuit angles, so I bumped that up a little bit to give them some help. Now, let's go to special teams. Field goal power and field goal accuracy, to my understanding, do not impact the CPU. At least from what I saw. I put it at 40. They were still kicking from 59. But what it does is it gives me a little bit of a challenge, and it makes my ratings matter a little bit more. I keep that 40, and 35 gives us a little bit of a challenge. If anything's too hard for you, bump it back up to where you like, but that's where I like it. Punt power, put this at 60. I'm going to experiment with 65 as well. All this does, it gives you a little bit of an extra room to return punts. If they start booming 70-yard punts with 65, keep it at 60, but I just wanted to test the game at 65. I've been playing with it at 60, but I want to test it at 65. Punt accuracy, I don't think it does anything. The CPU rarely tries to pin you deep, so I don't think it matters, but it is what it is. In years past, I've used 100. I tested 100. It didn't do anything, so I didn't touch it for this set. Going to kick off power, I've got this at 65, and you guys are probably like, why? Let me explain it. The CPU is notoriously terrible at returning kicks.
Kickoff team is out there to boot it away.
Georgia, 18.
Fields it just outside the goal line.
And get this bowl game underway. He'll bring it out. It's Bussy.
If you kick it in the field of play, they're going to take it to the 10. Like, I swear, they're taking it to the 9. I don't know why they're so bad at returning kicks, but they're going to be behind the 15-yard line, almost guaranteed. So I've just been kicking it out the end zone the whole time because it felt unfair at this point. And if you want to kick it short, you can kick it short. You can choose to kick it short, but I've just been kicking it out of the end zone. So at the very least, they'll start at the 25. If you want to cheese it, you can kind of kick it to the goal line on every play, but I didn't want an unfair advantage. Now, injuries, the main menu default was 10. But then when I pressed reset, it came up to 50. So I played a game at 20 and still didn't see a lot of injuries. So this slider for me is going to end up anywhere from 20 to 50. I just don't know where yet. We will figure that out. But yeah, so I'm just starting with it at 20, but it does need to come up. I'm not seeing a lot of injuries at all. Definitely not seeing them at 10. Now, for the fatigue, I am not 100% sure this slider works. I played a game with it at 50, didn't notice anything, no one switching out. Played a game with it at 60, didn't notice anyone switching out. Then I played a game with it at 90 and someone disappeared. So it's very sensitive, needs more testing. I'll see what the community comes up with. I think the threshold is fine at the default value. There's a lot of debate about it. I personally, if I do move it, I like to raise it. I've seen some people lower it. I'm not sure about lowering it. I know people want their fast guys to feel fast, but it just opens the game up so much. It can sometimes lead to too many big plays for the user and not enough big plays for the CPU. Because like I said, the user is just so much better maneuvering with that left stick. So it gets to be a little bit personal preference. I think one issue I would have with lowering it this year is I feel like almost every interception and every fumble recovery has been returned for a touchdown on me, and I just don't love that. That was some of the reasons I was thinking about raising it, but we'll see. As for the weather, I wanted to let you guys know I have not played enough weather games to change this yet, so I do have them at default. I can go through one by one and let you guys know what I was thinking about doing, but I haven't tested yet. The catch chance, I would probably raise this to make more drops due to the weather. Maybe do like a 75 for the catch chance. For pass accuracy, anything we can do to get the CPU accuracy down, I'll probably raise that 75. Pass strength 75. Make the rain and snow really affect the passing game. For the broken tackles, I feel like we've already nerfed the user tackling enough. I'll probably lower this a lot, maybe to like 10 or something like that, to make it, barely make a difference. Kicking, I would probably keep this at default, maybe bump it slightly, both kickings to 60, because we know it will impact the user. And the question is will it impact the CPU? So let me do that real quick. So if I had to guess what I'll test next, and I'll just keep this here, I'll probably do something like this. Yeah, let's go crazy with it. F it. This is what we do betas for, right? I'll probably do that. And something like this. And we want movement penalties, but guys are still fast in the snow. So maybe something like that. Yeah, a very slight movement penalty. So yeah, that's probably what I would do for the weather games, but this has to be tested a lot. And it's difficult because in Dynasty, you can't really determine what weather you're going to get, and we don't know if the play now plays the same as Dynasty. Now, guys, let's go to the penalties. This is one of the most important things, guys. Please listen when I say this. Penalties have a huge impact on the game and the gameplay. Some people have said like, oh, I don't know if that's true. It might be placebo. I'm telling you it's true. I'm telling you I've tested. I'm telling you I've put hours and hours into testing this fact. And if the person telling you that these don't in fact impact gameplay hasn't put the same amount of time in the sliders that I have, please don't listen to them. That's all I'm going to say. I have not gotten a chance to determine how penalties are going to impact this set. So with that being said, there's no more important part of this video. Please do not look at these sliders and say Shady hasn't touched the penalty. So I'm going to go grab Joe Schmo's penalty sliders and plug them in with Shady sliders. That will not work, and it will completely change everything about this set. Within the hours I've tested this game, just by raising holding, just by raising false start, just by raising offside, I've noticed it completely changes the way the run game works. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it does. And if you don't believe me, test it yourself, right? That's my problem. All the people saying it doesn't do things, don't ever come back with any testing. With that being said, I do have intentional grounding off. Make sure you turn the intentional grounding off, but don't abuse it. Don't just throw the ball away when you're getting sacked. Try to get outside of the pocket. But yeah, I have intentional grounding off. It will drastically improve the way the CPU looks to deliver the football. The CPU will look to deliver the ball more down the field. They're not afraid of making bad throws. This has been proven over Madden, over college football. If you want to debate it, do your own testing. That's cool. A lot of people say it's placebo. That's cool. Not my take. It is what it is, guys. Give me more time on the penalty sliders. We will get where we need to be, but this is what I'm rocking right now. And if you use anything else from this video, I suggest you rock the same. That's all I'll say on that. It's just a suggestion. If you guys want things to work properly. I know a lot of people don't listen anyway, but it is what it is. All right, guys, last thing we're going to look at, auto subs. I'm just doing this weird thing right now with the auto subs. Everything here is default except for two things that I've been doing. I wanted to show you guys this because this was something that actually was working really well for me. Like I said, I couldn't get the fatigue to work, but look at what I did with the running backs to get a 50-50 split. All I did was I took the wear and tear to custom, put the in to 100 and the out to 99. So this shows what this will do is if your running back receives any wear and tear, he's going to come out and the backup comes in. And so what I noticed is after every run, they were switching backs. What is cool about this is that unlike fatigue, if you do the same thing, the players don't disappear. So I put this at 199, played a whole game. I got a 50-50 split through the entire game. So it's a little bit like this not, I'm sure this is not how the system's meant to be used, but this is just kind of me thinking outside of the box. Again, completely beta, completely guessing. This is just what I wanted to try. So what I'm thinking, and that's why I have all of the recovery sliders at 100, is no matter how much wear and tear happens between each play, they're getting back to 100, and that's why they're coming back in. So what I'm thinking is I want to slowly but surely kind of tweak this down a little bit to get like a little bit more of a modest rotation. But for the running backs and for your defensive ends, you can do this to get a really nice rotation, but it is a really aggressive rotation. So if you're a team that has depth, you're going to get a lot of rotation. So I kind of like that for my linebackers, and I like that for my defensive ends, and I like it for my running backs. And again, this is something that is extremely kind of test worthy, but what I really like, and I'll show you guys in game real quick, is at any point in time, if you want to go back to normal, you can just press R3, substitution, and you can swap your running backs. So it will normally be on custom because we set a custom, but you can literally just swap it back to balanced, keep fresh, or one of the default ones to go back to your rotation. So I'm just messing around with it. If you guys like that, give it a shot. There's literally nothing to lose. However, those recovery sliders are very high, so that will impact the overall recovery. So there's an idea here, there's a thought process here, guys. The game hasn't been out a week, but we're gonna figure out a way to again, we've never had this much control, but we're gonna figure out a way to make this work for us. I'm really excited about what that's gonna mean for this game going forward. But other than that, guys, listen, I know there's a lot of information. I tried to organize it as best as possible. Keep it locked to the channel. We're gonna be testing all this live on stream whenever I get the chance. Thanks for all the support on the channel. Shout out to the winner of our giveaway. Other than that, guys, it's your boy Shady Mike. I'm signing out. Peace. Threes.